Hello everybody, welcome back to the table. Today we are taking a look at a knife from Rosecraft Knives. And so Rosecraft is, from what I can tell, a new brand of knives based in the USA. So the brains behind this are in the USA, but they are working with some foreign production to bring some new folding knives to the market. And this right here is the Pocket Monster. So this one kind of piqued my interest because of this kind of unique design. And that is, of course, a normal folding knife. It's a liner lock, but we have this massive choil right here, which kind of drew me to this design. And so the designer of this knife is none other than Swags. So we can see her marking here on the logo. And so Swags has worked with other knife companies for quite a while now to bring designs to the market. And this one is actually a really, really smartly thought out folder. So this right here, from what I can tell, it's a Rosecraft branded knife, but it was manufactured by either, Artisan or CJRB Cutlery. And the telltale sign of that is our blade steel right here. This is that RPM-9 powder metallurgy steel that Artisan Cutlery uses in their knives. So Artisan, CJRB, I think those are the same company, and I think they are the OEM currently for Rosecraft knives. So what did they provide us here? So this right here is the Pocket Monster again. It comes in a few different colorations. This one just kind of struck my fancy at the time. So we have blue G10 and kind of these purple accents on the thumb stud and pivot right there. So very nice. I do like that the G10 kind of has this texture put into it. So it looks almost like an inlay, but it's all just, textured blue G10, fairly grippy, which is nice. But we can see from the design of this knife, we have both thumb stud and front flipper action. So for me, I prefer the thumb stud, but the front flipper is totally usable. And the blade itself runs on bearings. So you can see, of course, it just goes right back into the handle. No problem. Take a look at the lockup right here. Now you can tell the blade stock on this knife is really thin, and lockup is actually rather late for a brand new knife. So time will tell to see how that wears in. But I think part of that issue is just the blade stock is so very thin from the factory that there just isn't a lot of place for the liner lock there to have purchase. But it is full lockup. It is very tight. There is no play up and down, left or right out of the box. Centering as well is pretty good. So you can see that also. And on a knife with bearings, I expect that. But of course, we also have a reversible pocket clip. The pocket clip is actually a really nice design. So it's a simple loop over, deep carry, recessed screws. It's super smooth to get in and out of pocket, and it is reversible for left or right hand side tip up carry. And it's very simple. It has the branding on it, and that is it. It doesn't draw any attention. It carries really deep. So I think that it really solves any issues you might have with any other pocket clip. Doesn't really even have a bill right here. It just flares right up, boom, and it's in your pocket. So really easy to get in and out of pants. And of course, looking inside the liners, you can take a peek. We have steel liners here, and there is no skeletonization. So the knife itself, well, first off, before we even talk about the weight, let's look at the length of the knife and the size. So looking at the ruler here, we can see the overall length of the Pocket Monster here comes in a little under 7 inches long. So I would say maybe 6 3/4, 6.8 inches. But really importantly, take a look at the blade length. So this blade is kind of an interesting one because you can see that in terms of cutting area, we only have about 2 inches of cutting blade. But the overall length of the knife or of the blade is coming a little bit under 3 inches. But again, we have this massive choil right here. And I think that's really a part of the design in that we have a small blade and we have a relatively small handle and a small overall length, but you can still get a full grip on this knife by using that choil. So the blade is small, but you're getting a really good grip, nice long jimping on the spine of the blade right here. And that is pretty grippy. So I think that's pretty well done. So overall, like once this knife is in your hand and you have it gripped, it's not going anywhere. And the fact that you have to hold on to this blade, I mean, it's all rock solid, very tight. So again, right here on the blade, that RPM-9 powder metallurgy steel, it's supposed to be somewhere between, like a a D2 and a 14C 28N in terms of usability. But we have the Rosecraft branding next to that bright purple thumb stud. And on this side, we just have the model number. So RCM 002, so Rosecraft number 2, I suppose. But really an interesting design. And this one right here, I picked up from Blue Creek Knives. And so there are quite a few dealers who have these in stock and available right now. Blue Creek Knives is just where I picked this one up from. And I'm going to buy more knives from them in the future. They have a pretty good variety of the Rosecraft knives in stock, at least as of now. And they were giving away some free swag with each purchase. So I got like this little, what are these called? Koozies? But it has all the knife branding on it. So for a new knife brand, you would expect them trying to get their name out there. Same with the flight tags right here. So we have the Rosecraft blades on one side. And then, of course, I'm assuming these are the logos of each of the designers the company works with. This one being a Swags design. But flight tags kind of seem to be the new thing in the knife community where every company has them, but they're actually kind of useful. Like you can stick them on a zipper, stick them anywhere, and they're great for pulling things open. So good for a keychain or anything like that. So I love swag, you know me. And then, you know, kind of a pun. This is about swags, but I actually do like all the swag. Same thing with the sticker. All this stuff just came with the knife. Really, really cool. But of course, Swags herself is at this point, quite a prolific knife designer. So we have the Swags Pocket Monster. I also have one of her early designs. This is the Swags Swayback, and this is a Kaiser knife of all things. But there again, the logo is right here on the pocket clip. So we can see two different Swags designs. Pretty nicely done. And actually the Swayback right here has gone through several different iterations. Really, really classic design. So whatever she's doing, it's great. So a lot of the stuff that she designs is really, really awesome. And so that's what kind of drew me to this first. So first thing was, you know, the name recognition, you know, the fact that she was working with Rosecraft knives. But then upon second glance, looking at this design and the fact that we get this humongous choil on this blade is just unique. You know, you don't see this very often in a lot of blades today. So the fact that it's there is pretty darn cool. Blade is super sharp. I was shaving my arm with it earlier, and that's right out of the box. So out of the box first impressions are, of course, good. That lovely stone wash on the blade, you can see. And of course, stone wash is my absolute favorite finish because it shows, or it hides, I should say, wear and tear very nicely. So I'm happy to see this is stone wash and not satin or coated or anything like that. Although they do have a blacked out version of this knife too. So what's really awesome is in buying this knife from Rosecraft, there's this little pamphlet right here. It shows all their designs, and not all of them sing to me. You know, a lot of these are just modern folders. What I am probably going to pick up eventually right here is the Bara. And we can see it's probably a regular liner lock knife, but it has this bottle opener chisel tool on the end, which is pretty cool. So I always love getting a second use out of a knife. And of course, there's the Pocket Monster here. But what really intrigues me are some of these traditionals they're going to offer. So right here, the little Riverbend Skinner, Appalachian Jack. So these two I'm keeping an eye on. From what I could tell on their website, these ones use, I think, D2 steel. So D2 blades, traditional slip joint designs. And so we will see how they function. And of course, at this point, I believe all of these are foreign produced, most likely by CJRB or Artisan Cutlery. Not sure about the slip joints. To me, these look very reminiscent of the Rough Rider Reserve lines, which are very nicely made foreign slip joints. So until I have them in my hand, though, I won't be able to tell you for sure. So I'm just keeping an eye out for these for them to go on retail. So this little little flyer was actually kind of useful because I know what's upcoming soon. So the little Riverbend Skinner Appalachian Jack has a little bit of a pry tool at the end there, which is kind of cool for a slip joint. So I'm kind of excited for those two. Not all these other knives really sing to me, but I do appreciate what Rosecraft is doing here. So we have a new brand with the U.S. brains behind it. And of course, even if they use foreign manufacture, totally fine. That's normal nowadays. But the Swags the Swags Pocket Monster right here, pretty cool. From what I remember, this one was called the Sully because of the blue colors and the purple. kind of reminiscent, of course, of a certain Pixar movie. But really, really nice design. The overall weight of this knife, sorry, we're late in the video. I forgot to mention it. This knife is not, it's not super lightweight, but it does come in at about 3.7 ounces. So 3.7 ounces, almost 7 inches long, 2 inches of cutting edge, but a massive choil to really get control of this blade. So really tight design. Everything on my end looks good here for a brand new knife. No complaints from me, of course. So the whole idea behind this video, give you a first peek. So if you have any questions about the Rosecraft Pocket Monster, feel free to leave a comment below. I would love to hear from you. But I hope you enjoyed watching so far. Have a nice day, everybody, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.